Minister of Labour and Employment there shedding more light on the National Council of State decision. Well, the Nigeria Labour Congress has, however, rejected the 27,000 naira new minimum wage recommendation. NLC General Secretary Peter Osuesan says the National Council of State has no jurisdiction to determine any amount different from that agreed by a tripartite committee. That committee approved 30,000 naira, and Mr. Osuesan wonders why government is delaying the submission of an executive bill with that amount to the National Assembly. The NLC has called now for an emergency meeting to discuss the deadline given to government to submit the bill.
Well, the head international relations of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Uchenna Ekwe, now joins us from Abuja. Thank you for joining us and good evening to you. All right, we hear NLC has rejected the 27,000 naira recommended by the Council of State. If that is true, why that decision, since the federal government says it will pay 30,000 naira to its workers?
Yeah, what we negotiated for is not what the federal government can pay its workers. What was negotiated for is a national minimum wage. The word minimum is the barest minimum every employer of labor with not less than 25 workers in his employment should pay. And that passed through the process of negotiation as outlined by our law, which was derived from ILO Convention 131 that stipulates how minimum wages will be determined by nations of the world, which Nigeria have signed to and domesticated. And that is why the minimum wage is never an award. It's a negotiated instrument. And after the negotiation, usually that negotiated figure is taken to the National Assembly to be enacted into law. The Council of States version is just a choice of the government of Nigeria executive as administrative framework through passage. They don't have the right to change what has been negotiated.
Mr. Ekwe, let me ask very quickly how unanimous this decision is. As we speak, there's an unconfirmed report that the organized labor in Bayelsa State has already commended the approval, saying that it would improve the welfare of their workers.
Well, I don't know what you mean by unanimous. The NLC is a structure and have a system of speaking, and the organized labor have been unanimous. We are not negotiating. The negotiation have ended. We are aware that after the 30,000 baseline, which is the minimum, that the federal government can as well would have said they will pay federal workers 35,000. This is not alien to us. The minimum wage as at 18,000, as at the time, even when Adams Oshomole was the governor of Edo State, he made that of Edo 25,000, and Edo have continued to pay 25,000. Why the national minimum is 18,000. So the minimum wage as agreed by the tripartite body, which the law recognizes, agreed 30,000. Any other thing outside this is reneging in that process and throwing away the negotiation mechanism.
Okay, now earlier you said that the National Council of State has no right to make that recommendation, but part of its duties is to advise government whenever requested to do so on the maintenance of public order within the federation. The case in point, of course, Nigeria. But what next? Will NLC be doing after now? What's the plan?
Well, even because of the agreement which the MOU was signed with the federal government, which hitherto agreed that the 30,000 naira agreed minimum wage will be transmitted to the National Assembly not later than 23rd, which is tomorrow, in anticipation of not being sure that it may be transmitted, which is the 30,000, the NLC has already set out to have an emergency central working committee meeting on Friday to take a decision in event that there was a reneging on that memorandum of understanding.
So
when we meet on Friday, the decisions will be taken.
I think you made your point very precisely there. Uchenna Ikwe, Head International Relations of the NLC. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us on the news tonight.